Three-Eyed Raven.
Hello, welcome to the Night is Dark podcast. My name is Maude Garrett. We're also joined by the lovely Tiffany Smith and birthday boy Ken Napzok.
That's right.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Ken.
Braavos/Ken Napzok.
Happy birthday to you. Woo!
Thank you.
This is the podcast called The Night is Dark, and we obviously focus on all things Game of Thrones, especially the episode that has just been completely broadcast around the world. Episode 2 has come out. It is called The House of Black and White. Now, we are live right now. If you want to have a chat with us, there's a chat box just to the right. We are on live stream. But don't worry, if you're missing out on this, we will be available. The full episode will be up on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Geek Bombshells. We've got bonus extra videos and extra content. One is going up two are going up in the next 48 hours.
Yep. We'll get 2 little videos up.
That's right. Trust me, we have a drunken sing-along to the theme, and I nearly die, and that will be up on Tiffany's
Life imitating art.
YouTube. Tiffany, your YouTube channel. Give it a big plug.
Tiffany M. Smith. Check it out. That's my YouTube page. You can find a link to it on my Twitter, at Tiffany's Tweets.
And if you like the audio-only version of this, it's available on not only iTunes, but Podomatic, and you are so popular on your birthday, aren't you?
That's my name day. Yeah, but you can find the audio version of this
Oh,
show.
bugger off.
He's calling it Talk Game of Thrones, and
that's pretty cool.
that's what it's doing. You can find the audio version of this on the Napzok Files podcast feed, which is on iTunes, Podomatic, and Stitcher. Thanks to your support, I did reach that #1 spot on Podomatic. So thanks for that
Happy
support.
It's still my favorite that it's under comedy.
Well,
We're funny.
you put some Three-Eyed Raven beer in us, and we get pretty funny right away.
Yeah, because it is Ken's birthday, we are drinking some legitimate Three-Eyed Raven
Yeah.
beer, a dark mead. Which
So
is
who knows where this podcast is going to go?
Mate, I can already see. Yeah, there you go. That right there, that's what's happening. We are all on Twitter as well, and we'd love to engage in conversations about Game of Thrones. I am at Maude Garrett. We have Tiffany, who is at Tiffany's Tweets. We also have at Ken Napzok as well. You guys have been tweeting during the week, and some of the things that you've been saying, pretty fantastic, and we'll be bringing them up during the show. But should we get straight into the episode that we've just seen?
Yes.
Yes, we
Let's
should.
do it.
Cool. The House of Black and White, episode 2. The first thing that we've really noticed, Ken, you and I have read. I've read the first half of one book. You've read the whole series that's out.
Yeah,
so far.
and I also want to make sure. Last week when I was in Vegas, I think I became bitter book guy, and I
quoted out. Yeah.
I don't want to be
Because you were alone in a hotel room.
That's
You were
right.
sad you weren't with us with all the beautiful candlelight.
Right.
That's what happened.
I don't want to be that guy, but I will struggle at times. I'm still trying to grasp the Mance Raider stuff in my brain. But this week, so many changes. But the thing I want to pose to you guys is some of the changes just might be Winds of Winter stuff. We might be getting book spoiled.
Well, here's the thing. We talked about this a little bit. I'm not sure if we're going to do it quite yet on the show, but we might do a little section so all of you guys who've not read the books, because I represent that contingent on this show that I've read the first 3 and then stopped. So we may do a section where we're like, okay, we're just going to really get into some book spoilers so you guys know that you can just be like, skip those 5 minutes. Yes, there'll be some references throughout the show, but that will be the main part where we're like,
we will keep
okay,
it very, very spoiler free. And you know what? It's even easier to do that now because this is drifting from the books so much. We're seeing things that are happening right now in the show that I kept yelling out to you, Ken, that didn't happen.
Yep.
So the fact that we are book readers is almost irrelevant because it's drifting away.
Yeah.
So
The playing field is now level.
Yep. And
Yeah,
I think
just
it's
took 5
one of those things where it's like, as we're all watching it, you know, today I was asking questions where it's like, the grayscale, is that something that you get to know more about in the books? And then I'm like, I'm just going to keep watching, and then stuff gets explained, and I'm like, oh, I guess you do know about this in the books, and you guys are like, is that actually explained like that in the books?
So the smug have become the smaug in this situation, I feel. It's like, you know, when we all used to sit there going, oh, I know what's about to happen. It actually never happened with me for season 2, 3, and 4. But now it's happening, and my power has been taken away from me.
Yeah, which is kind of a good thing in some levels. We get to enjoy this
for the first time.
For the first time again, and I like that.
Cool.
So let's talk about some of the amazingly awesome, cool things that happened in this episode.
Oh, yeah.
I think that for me, we talked about this a little bit, the theme that kept coming up for me was snakes.
Yeah.
Obviously, because we had the box arrive from Dorne with
Yeah.
the snake and the necklace in it to Cersei. And then we had, the hissing to Misa. And then just a lot of heads being chopped off, which I was like, you always say the thing where it's like, cut the head off the snake and you end whatever is going on.
And Shireen teaching Gilly to read with the S.
The S on the snake. Yep. Yeah, so that's definitely something that they focused on this episode. It's always curious. I wonder when they're putting an episode together, if they think about all of that, or if it's like, okay, they start putting it together and like, oh, could we put this theme here because it's already here and here?
Yeah.
Let's just embrace that.
It's tied all together.
You hope so, because so many snake references in one show would be kind of like, hey guys, look what we did accidentally.
I noticed that our billboards all around LA had "All Men Must Die," and I remember going, "I'm so into this show. How come this is something that I'm not really familiar with?" And for the first time, I feel season 5, we are hearing the "All Men Must Die, All Men Must Serve."
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, have you got the translation?
As we're
Valar
watching it too.
Morghulis, all men must die, and Valar Dohaeris is all men must serve. And Arya, she's going to serve.
Okay, so this whole "all men" thing.
Yeah.
Is it just men, or is this all people that live and breathe and are humans?
Because
we've got Myrcella, who could possibly be the ruler of Dorne as a female. We've got Cersei, who's losing her power currently. Is it a gender-based thing, or is this a generalized thing?
I think I always took it as generalized.
No,
but,
not men.
But
Sorry, men.
Oh,
One,
we
two,
got a
three.
little treat. Happy birthday to you.
Woo.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ken. Happy birthday to you.
Wow.
Yeah, we got some cupcakes.
The beer wasn't
happening.
enough. We had to get some birthday
I've
cupcakes
done
for
quite
you.
well.
So
You
Yeah.
guys,
there's more.
you guys each showered me with some wonderful birthday gifts, name day gifts before the show. Some Wookiee erotica.
Yeah, you're
Trust me.
welcome. You're welcome.
And
That's
a
happening.
wonderful book
So we like titties, baby.
that you got that has all the deaths
Hashtag.
Yep.
in Game of Thrones.
All the Game of
in
Thrones deaths on
memoriam.
the TV series so far.
It's great.
So now blow them out, make a wish.
Oh, okay, I have to do this?
All men must blow.
Oh, I don't want to blow off the
Very
set
nice.
Well, that's another one.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
No.
Where were we?
Maude, keep it clean.
It was
Keep
candles.
it clean.
I'm talking about candles.
We were talking about all men. Is
All
that
men
something
must-
that's
I
going
took
on?
it as general,
Yeah.
but also in the world of Game of Thrones, it's
don't know.
you just don't know. And this show, I always believe the story is I think women overcoming the brutality of men in this world. So who knows? Maybe it might be a little bit of Return of the King action. I am no man.
Yep. At the well, and I think it's one of those things too where they mentioned the stuff, or they said that you are like they said it to Arya at the end, where it was like this girl will serve, and the fact that Cersei's dealing with her own stuff of if she can be in a position of power,
Sansa's
they
dealing with her
completely
stuff.
call her out on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sansa's dealing with her stuff.
She's getting snarky, with Peter Baelish at the moment.
Darky snarky.
Pete, it's almost like Peter Baelish has created a monster in
Yeah.
his own, and he's even saying that. It's like you're getting rather observant.
And have you noticed that in the Stark household, they've always been a very, very strong household, and we're seeing
Yeah.
that the North is still strong, and they want a Stark to resume that line of power, but it's the women
Yeah.
in the Stark family that are the only hope, apart from Snow, who may or may not become a Stark. We'll talk more about that later.
Yep. Yeah.
Cool. So we do kick off with the fact that Arya has jumped on a boat to Braavos with the use of her coin from.
Jagan Hagar.
Thank you.
Jagan Hagar?
I just feel like if I
Jagan Hagar.
choke
Jagan.
on my food, that's how I would
Jagan Hagar.
Yeah. Are you okay? Actually, it's a man of many voices. But I love the significance of who are you? I'm nobody.
Yeah.
And in the books, that's quite a prevalent theme because Arya keeps saying, he knows who she is. This priest knows she's a Stark, and he keeps going, "Who are you? Arya Stark. Who are you?"
Yeah.
And she goes, "I'm nobody."
And she's got to learn that, and she is driven by vengeance.
Yes.
She goes to the house of Black and White, knocks on the door. This old dude pops out, and
Gets rejected.
Yep.
No one here by that name. And then what does she do? She does what she does every night for most of her life.
Counts her names.
Counts her names out. She is driven by vengeance, but to get what she wants, she's going to have to
Cersei,
learn.
Walder Frey,
Mountain.
the Mountain, Meryn Trant, Cersei,
The list is
Walder Frey,
both bigger and
Mountain,
smaller. Shrinking,
Meryn
but
Trant.
bigger. But she's going to have to learn to surf. She's going to have to learn, and this is obviously the place where she goes, and it's a long lesson. And the return of Jagan Hagar, or The Return of Nobody.
The Faceless Man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say this is one of those book changes that I'm actually really excited about.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely one of those parts of the TV show that's mysterious, that you're not ever going to get all of the pieces of the puzzle immediately. We're getting to see little bits and pieces here and there.
Yeah.
I immediately was like, that's him. I knew it. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I didn't read this in the books. So I was like, I think it's him. And I think it was one of those things where I expected to kind of have a montage of her sitting outside, just hanging out for a while. So when she throws the coin into the ocean, I was like, are you kidding me? Don't do that. That was a dumb move. But it ended up working out to her benefit.
I've got a couple of tweets coming in that I want to address while we're still on this particular topic. We've
Yeah.
got Waterfaster 2012 says, do you all think that Sansa has really changed, or is she just playing the game?
I think she's in the process of changing.
Well, she's changed physically with dyeing her hair and taking
Yeah.
her new name, Elaine.
Elaine, but also
now, phew, man.
go
She's
back
return serving Peter
Yeah.
Baelish's.
go back to season 1. She's not only is she a younger girl, but she was all about knitting and princes and babies
Yeah,
and
she
Who
was.
am
I
I
want to be a
marrying?
queen. And,
Yeah.
yeah,
I want to be
exactly.
Joffrey's wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joffrey's horrible and he beats me,
And
and now I don't know what.
I go back to the Hound telling Arya last season of the line of I'm the only one who knows what it's really like. How many Starks do they have to behead before you do too? So this is Sansa kind of getting that
Yeah.
lesson too from Peter.
And I think she's on the border of both things. Faking it, but also learning and becoming that person. Because honestly, when Brienne comes in, which that was such a cool moment where
Doesn't happen in
Brienne
the
already
book.
had it happen in the last episode, crosses paths. And so I was glad that they immediately came back to him and were like, no, they're still in the same general vicinity.
I agree. If
They
we
see
kept
each
having
other.
these near misses the whole time, I would
Yeah.
rip my hair out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that her coming in there, even if she wanted to leave with Brienne, I think that she understands the situation that she's in with Littlefinger, where she's like, I know that I'm safe right now with him. So maybe at some point I'm going to need Brienne, but right now is not that time. I'm going to stick with what I know and keep learning more before I go to this other thing that could protect me later on.
It's funny that you say that because Leo here has just tweeted in saying, Peter's okay to have Sansa's name shouted out in public. That is unlike Littlefinger. Reckless.
Yeah.
I agree. As soon as Brienne walked up and was like, Sansa Stark, I was like,
Yeah.
ooh, 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 you don't know.
Yeah. But I think it would have ended up making things worse if he was like, don't call her that, you know?
Yeah, true.
If he just lets it go and
Yeah.
he's like, look, because he also doesn't want Sansa to know how crazy he actually is.
True.
So
He
it's
needs to be
like,
the safety.
yeah,
Yeah.
he was the safety net, which is why he went through the list of, okay, you were supposed to protect this person. Well, they're dead. You were supposed to protect
He
this
did.
person.
He
Yeah.
They're
shut
dead.
Brienne down so hard, and I think Brown, she only lives to serve, and she's the sworn sword.
Yep.
And you're right, when Peter Baelish was like identifying all of her weaknesses, oh, you had one job and you failed, and then you had another job and you failed time and time again. That is her one weakness that she's just destroying straight up.
Yeah.
But another weakness that she's having is rejection. She said
Well,
to
failed
Arya,
again.
I wanna serve you, and she's like, no.
Nope.
Okay, you've got one more sister for me to kind of adhere to my side of my promise. What about you?
Nope.
Nope. What's Brienne left to do? You know, this
Yeah.
is all she knows.
You pity this poor woman. This is why I think she's now that we know she's the Chrome Stormtrooper in Force Awakens.
Are we sure?
it
During my
was-
Star Wars celebration show.
No, it was confirmed this weekend. She is.
It was?
She
Oh.
is the Chrome Stormtrooper with the red cape
Okay.
that you see in the trailer,
Nice.
and is probably the big villain in this movie. So I think Brienne's going to get her revenge.
While I've got you guys here as well, if you are watching this live, tweet in your questions.
Yep.
We will be addressing them all throughout the show. You can either tweet myself at Maude Garrett, Ken at Ken Napzok, or Tiffany at Tiffany's Tweets, or all of us above, or use that hashtag, The Night Is Dark.
And just,
Frog, too.
or
And
yeah,
I
and
See
make
the
sure
Frog.
you do.
At I See the Frog, big shout out to these guys because these microphones that you see, the cupcakes and the candles, all at I See the Frog. So give them a big follow as well.
That's right.
Because I'll be retweeting them anyway. so
I'm going
may
to
as well
thank them
stop.
for the cupcakes
That was Tiffany.
constantly.
That was Tiffany.
Oh,
I got you the
guys.
Well,
He
that
lit
too.
the candles. He lit the candles.
Good job.
Wookie
Um,
corn, enough said.
I think just going off of that stuff too with Brienne, where we got our first kind of brutal death of this season.
I made the note, Brienne with the brutal kill.
I
From
actually,
Brienne,
did I
which-
say those exact things as well?
It was it was an
Brutally.
expected death. Like you expect to see these kind of deaths on shows, but we haven't really seen it from her. And it was like directly to the camera.
Bleh, through the What's this called?
Through the
collarbone?
clavicle.
Through the
Clavicle?
shoulder neck.
The clavicle. That was nasty,
Yeah,
girl.
Yeah.
it just proves she to me is one of the best sword fighters in this created universe. I
Gets
take,
even better with that sword from
Yeah.
Jamie.
yeah,
But let's have a chat about the relationship she's had with Pod. Last episode that we saw, she kept trying to rid him. No one wants me.
Yep.
I've been rejected by Arya. Get away from me. I'm not a knight. And then they split up, and Podrick gets chased by all of these guards.
yeah. Poor
She
Pod.
comes and rescues him.
Yeah.
I think these guys are becoming fast allies, and she needs him or wants him as much as he needs.
But what does she need him for?
I don't think she
Why
needs
would you
him.
want to be alone?
I think Brienne's
If you
a
get
good person.
rejected over and over again, what's the one thing you want? Someone who wants or needs you.
Yeah.
I can tell you from a life of being rejected that yes, that's true.
Exactly
From
right.
being the part of the Night's Watch.
Yeah, I would take
You've
my
been
vows.
watching those nights, haven't you?
Yeah. But I think at the end of the day, Brienne's a very good person, and
Yeah.
Pod, for all of his podness, is
He
you know,
lives to serve just as much as she does.
yeah, he's a good-hearted guy.
The problem with Brienne, though, is that the only other person that we've ever seen throughout the series that has that kind of loyalness and that puts what's right and what she should do above everything else, they die.
Eddard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ned's dead.
Dead,
Ned.
bro.
Ned
Ned's
behead.
dead.
Benetting.
The
Benetting. The benetting.
Ned's
The
dead.
benetting. That's it. So we are seeing a little bit of a transformation there. But good on her for sticking
Yeah.
that sword in.
She knows how to fight.
And she's taking no for an answer, which
Yeah.
is kind of cool as well.
Yeah, she respects in a weird way respects Sansa. Like, yeah, she doesn't trust me. That's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think, you do see that she's still completely loyal to the fact that her response is, do you trust Littlefinger? No. We're going to keep following them. Even though she doesn't want me there, I'm still going to do what I was tasked to do, and I'm going to do a good job at it.
Yeah.
Got a few tweets happening here. Leo has said one of the Knights of the Vale in this episode volunteered to fight Tyrion in season 1.
Yeah.
What? And Brienne of Tarth says Waterfaster 2012 has the same problem that Ned Stark and Mance had. They have too much honor. And I think the thing here is it is all about the Game of Thrones. It's all about playing this game. And, some you win, some you lose. But if you keep doing what's right.
Well, and is it honor in some cases or pride? Because that was what Jon said to Mance last week, where he was like, don't let your pride ruin all of this for you. And I think that that's something with Brienne where it's like seeing her get denied, that it's like, no, I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. Is it pride at times? I think when it becomes pride, that's when they kind of get killed.
But Mance's rebuttal is, if I have to explain to you why this is so important, then you don't deserve to hear it.
And he wanted the freedom to make that mistake, as he said. So
Yeah.
we'll see. From there, we go to Dorne, right? Our first look at Dorne.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, did we not talk about seeing Jamie?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. No, you're right. We got the snake, a
You
gift
and
from
your
Dorne.
minimal notes
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, my cursive handwriting could get anyone in high school out of their physical education class with my mum's curls. Look at that handwriting. That's
Nine
very
pa-
beautiful.
nine
It's
pages
beautiful,
of
Maude.
40s.
That's
but
right.
you're
A
right.
gift from Dorne.
Yep.
Yeah, Cersei and Jaime
Going back to
Lannister.
the snake again.
Now, these two, they are brothers and sisters. And these guys were pretty much fornicating as soon as they realised they could put their bits in the other's pieces. But the thing here is that as soon as Jamie left, their relationship has been in complete turmoil. He's returned, and they're not each other's
It's painful.
allies.
It's honestly painful seeing them interact together now, because it's like
They hate each
the
other.
worst breakup you could ever possibly have, and then you still have to work together, and you have kids together. So it's like they got divorced, but they can't actually separate.
You're speaking about pride, and I think here Cersei's pride is really getting in the way. She's finally in a position where she can lead. Her father Tywin's dead, but she needs to be building allies. And I think she's realizing at the moment that everywhere she looks, she's not in control. And Jamie, who seems to be the only level-headed person in power at the moment, she's denying everything because of her pride.
Yeah.
And seeing these two together,
And Jamie's the only person in this situation that could help her at this point.
totally, and she's rejecting
Yeah.
everything.
Well, and she's so good at just
You just want to...
sticking where you can't defend. Where
Because
stuff about
words are her weapon.
words are her weapons. It's just like, oh, you've never been a father. And he's like, I couldn't have been a father. They would have killed our kids in the street. You know this.
Yeah.
So don't say you're a father now.
She also, one of my favorite lines, the smirking whore from Highgarden, to describe Marjorie Tyrell. The Cersei-Jaime relationship just continues to kind of unfold and kind of get messy.
It's irreparable.
It feels
now.
like, when you've had friends who've broken up and they're both in the same room together again, and you're like, oh, God, I don't want to be here. It's so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's how it feels when they're in the same scene together. But I think that leads to finally getting to see Jaime man up again, which I love so much. I love this part of him where he really steps up to the plate and he says, I'm going to go and I'm going to get our daughter. And don't worry about it. I don't need to take an army with me. I am still the knight. Sorry, not king. I am still the man that I was before I lost my hand. Even if you're going to pick at me about it, I'm still that guy.
But how's her saying, who said you could take anyone? It's like, whoa, what you want out of this is to save your daughter. Why would you try and also make this a kamikaze mission for him? I just felt that was a little bit strange.
Yeah.
Because I think she wants to start a war.
She does?
She would.
I don't think she knows what she wants right now.
Yeah. If Jaime could go there and die because she makes him feel so bad about himself, but then they find out that they've sent someone, that's going to start a war.
True. Then discretion is absolutely key, and having a smaller party is good for that. I think we are also seeing Cersei, not only are we realizing that she's becoming completely out of power and that she's just blockading herself from building a good alliance here, but people are playing on her weaknesses, and this started happening during the Purple Wedding. Cersei's number one weakness are her children. And when Joffrey died, she was broken. And then now we're seeing Tommen being taken away by Marjorie, and she's realizing, I don't have power over this situation. And now that we've received this snake, and she goes, there's only 2 of these necklaces in the world. I have one, and my daughter has one. This is a threat. And she's like, I will do whatever it takes to protect my daughter. So this is a weakness of hers that's being constantly exploited.
And I think in this episode, too, especially when she goes before the council as not the hand of the king, but as the fill-in until he's old enough to figure out who he wants to be the hand of the king.
But did
That's
you
where
notice?
people finally are seeing who she actually is. It's the first time that I think people are legitimately calling her out as this person who's coming in and pretending to be empowered, though she's not.
Yeah, and maybe it's the fact that she's a woman, which she has reflected within the books, going, no one pays me any attention. People are talking down on me and putting me in my place. Yeah, because I'm a woman, and this wouldn't happen if I was a man. But we've seen her, Kevin, who's supposed to be her uncle. Yeah, she's like, you do as I say, and he's like,
nope,
sit down,
going back to the Rock. Yeah, this is the beginning of Cersei unraveling. This is Cersei flailing for power, Cersei trying to do what her father did, and he made it look so easy, and she's going to find it's really hard, which is similar to what is going on and has been going on with Dany. But to see so many people just openly... Mace Tyrell doesn't count. He's such a pushover and such a... yes, master of coin. Yes, thank you.
But how good's that beard?
Well, what? How good?
He's got like a flicker of a cowlick or something.
Oh, yeah, he's got a weird facial hair configuration.
We move into another part, which is kind of dabbled over in the books, but this is a very different situation. Remember Braun, Tyrion's right-hand man, the guy that saved him in the Vale? It was his sworn sword that was protecting him, and they were through thick and thin. Until someone with a bigger bag of money came along, because he is, at the end of the day, a sellsword.
That's right.
Well, he was sold off to Lollys, who is technically...
She's a half-wit.
I'm just going to say it, though. Whoever this actress, what her name is, I don't know. I need to look it up. But gives the best facial expressions. This chick gives good face.
Yeah.
It's so funny. The stuff that she responds to. She does, though. There were moments where I was like, oh, my God, that's so funny. It's just the way she interacts with him, and then seeing Jaime, where I'm like, all of us watching when we saw the show for the first time, that's the reaction that a lot of girls and some guys had about seeing Jaime Lannister. So it's like, it was so fun seeing that person who kind of is like the fan as you're a part of the show.
Yeah. It's funny also seeing Braun in Lord's Garbs.
Yeah,
the catch to be with Lollys is that
seeing dirty.
He got titles, he got land. All he had to do was pretty much put an heir in this woman's belly. To seeing that, but because Jaime in the books wasn't sent off to Dorne, is that a spoiler if I say that, or are we drawing comparisons, or should I just forget what happens in the books?
Jaime going at this point? Forget what happens in the books.
Well,
Jaime doesn't touch Dorne. now they're going to streamline the story and send him there, which I think is okay because it brings Braun back into the fold.
Which is great because he's such a lovable character, and maybe this is.
Jerome Flynn did such a spectacular job with Braun, and now we get to see him more. Where the argument, if they had followed the books directly, we wouldn't see Braun again.
He's vanilla.
I want it so bad.
We wouldn't see Braun again if they stayed with that, and I'm happy that Braun's still going on and going to follow Jaime down to Dorne. How is that?
So delicious, guys! It's Ken Napzok's birthday today, so we're gonna have some cupcake.
Yeah, I brought a whole bunch of good flavors, so get at them. Yeah, I think that getting to see him in that situation again is like Jaime getting to go back into the field, have some more fun, not have to be in that stupid armor, hanging out in the castle where he can't actually do anything.
Well, do we have
and
to
the same thing with Braun.
Remind everyone, when Jaime first lost his hand and came back, what's up?
There was a question. Somebody wanted to know who is Jaime promising to Braun.
Oh, because they didn't say. He was like, guess what? If you come with me, when you come back, you'll marry someone way better, and
Not
you'll
a
get
halfway.
a way better castle. I promise.
That's true. Who would it be,
That was
guys?
from Carlos Barajas.
Thanks, Carlos, for your question.
Thank you.
We'll find out. Yeah, I don't know.
Is there? No, I was like, for a second, I was like Marcella, but no, that would be a way bigger jump.
I think that's a red herring or a MacGuffin. I don't think it doesn't matter who Jaime's promising to him. It's just not the half-wit lollies, who, by the way, was in the season 2 riot.
Maud's just making a mess of those cupcakes over there.
It's really delicious, though, and that's what's important.
Should we get a close-up?
No.
Actually, my weakness is
We're
cupcakes.
not with Littlefinger in the brothel. Very sexy.
No
that
gag.
just
Hey, hold on,
happened.
No-
I don't know what just happened.
No gag reflex.
Oh.
We are not that show.
No, we're a
Not
Game of
people-
we're a Game of Thrones show.
It's
We're
true.
that show.
It's true.
But you can't eat another one. Sorry.
But I will.
But just kind of like going off of that sexy moment there, we get to see Tyrion in the little box
He's always in
with
boxes.
berries, but where he's talking about, what made me think of that is where he's talking about the fact that he has a price on his head. And he's like, well, what does he say? My sister's, her best part for my best part.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
his
they're gonna
hands
chop-
for her bits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think that was fun getting to see them interacting in that space where we keep getting to see them in these super intimate one-on-one conversations.
Oh, those two together are great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maud.
Where is it?
Just all over your face, basically. Just frosting all over.
Vanilla, vanilla.
Yeah. So I think getting to see that interaction happen was great because who knows what's going to end up happening. And I laughed out loud when Tyrion said the thing of, I never said anything different of how I was actually going to act. Yeah, I'm going to get drunk this whole ride there.
Oh,
I
there's
don't really care
always
what's
a
going to
glass in his
happen.
hand.
Yeah.
He's self-destructing. And Varys is here to kind of keep him in line.
I don't think he's self-destructing, though.
You don't
He just
think he's
doesn't
self-destructing?
care.
He doesn't care.
He's
That's
like-
self-destruction.
You
Right?
would think that a man who's killed his father and is like being hunted would have more to live for and be respectful and excited that he has a life still.
But I think he's waiting to see when he has a moment, if there is that moment where he wants to come back. Because it's like, okay, who are you taking me to see? Why are you taking me here? Do I really care until I get to that place? And if I meet Danny and all of a sudden I'm like, wow, this is actually someone that I think could lead and should, and I'll help. Up to that point, he's like, I'm going to be drunk the whole time. I don't
Whole
care.
time,
But
I'm gonna
his-
vomit everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I don't like right now is Tyrion's drive is not as clear. Where he should be searching for where whores go and having this internal drive to find something from his past. Now he's just kind of drunk and aimless. That's one thing I'm waiting to see where they develop this Tyrion storyline. I know what he's doing, where he's going, but I want right now. To me, he doesn't have enough drive. I don't want to see this guy just drink and stumble his way into
We
his
had that last
goal.
episode, I feel. He
Yeah.
vomited as soon as he was
Oh, yeah.
able to kind
Which
of
was
fill
great.
it up. Yeah.
Funny.
Yeah.
We get another look in Dorne
There we are.
at
Now we're in Dorne.
Ilaria. Now, not only has she got a completely new look, but a new accent.
Yeah,
it
she
sounds
sounded a
like.
bit different.
I like, it was weird.
Yeah.
I don't understand. And when I
I
was
know
watching,
all
I
of
was
a
like,
sudden have an accent from Dorne because we have been given some sort of
maybe
direction.
she's like really pissed off. And
don't know.
sometimes,
Yeah.
like when you speak
When
another
I'm
language,
angry, I turn Russian.
Well,
and like,
it's-
what is going on? That's
well, it's
German.
like I have friends whose Spanish is their first language. They get pissed off and they immediately go into a way heavier accent. So I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe No, I think it's
That's
just
like
like
a-
they decided to change her voice, and it was kind of weird.
It was kind of like Baelish last season, going really into Baelish voice a little bit too much.
She's always done Baelish voice,
But
though.
in season 4, it was a little more pronounced. It was a little more
How do I get
dramatic
something on my
for
shoulder?
dramatic search.
Just a mess.
So yeah, and I don't like her new short haircut. She's definitely in mourning, but she's got to grow
Cersei's
that
still
out
in her
again.
black garments as well.
Yeah.
For mourning. But we have met Dorian. Now, for those that don't know, Dorian is the king.
Doran, Prince Doran Martell.
Yeah.
Doran.
He
Yeah.
was the one who was supposed to go when Oberon went first.
But he's got
he was
an
like,
illness.
my
It's
brother,
like
the
gout?
prince.
He's
can't
got
come.
gout.
Yeah. Gout in his feet, which means that he's, kind of bound to a wheelchair and can't really move very much. In my head, I pictured him a lot fatter. I told you that, Ken, when I was watching. I saw him and I was like, he's supposed to be a big guy.
Well, yeah, most.
But Sam Tarly's still fat, so there you go.
But
God,
just
I
because
can't
you have
let that
gout doesn't
go.
mean that you're fat. It just
You
means
can't
that
move. If you
you
cannot
eat
move,
a lot of meat.
If you
Yeah,
can't,
yeah.
If you can't move and you're like wheelchair bound in a way, and you are a lord, then all you do is eat rich foods, and
Yeah.
you get fat.
Rich man's disease is what I think Tywin refers to it
Yeah.
as.
Well, and I liked getting to meet this character and hear that he really does mimic the same thoughts that his brother did. Where, he says the thing about Ilaria offers up, let's cut off her fingers and send them one by one to Cersei because I want vengeance and I want it now. And he's like, we don't mutilate little girls here.
Yeah.
And if you remember last season, Oberon's talking to Cersei and he says, we don't hurt little girls where
Yeah.
I'm from.
Yeah.
So I loved seeing that this is actually what this city and this province is actually
let's be
like.
so honest. Dawn sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Dawn, you don't have to be sold off to an older man.
We
even though
talked
it does
pre-show
happen.
about what houses we'd probably be in, and I would probably be in Dorne, so I'm
Then
pretty
have
excited about
lots
this.
and lots of sex. Seriously, that's what it sounds like.
And
That's
have
good.
lots of sand snakes.
Yeah. Pun intended.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that they don't, they don't mutilate little girls, and the fact
Yeah.
this is a conversation that comes up, and you know what, Cersei wouldn't blink
Yeah.
to do that, but here they are going, no, she's
Which is why she's so terrified. She's so scared because she's like, guess what?
first it's a
They're
necklace.
they're gonna have rebuttal against me and what happened on my daughter, and he's like, no, that's not what we do.
We also see Grey Worm and Dario. Now we are getting to know Dario more and more. Thank you.
Are we?
Yeah, because we realized last week
He
that
actually
was a
gets to
fighter.
talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a fighter, and he's like, yeah, the fighting pits were where I made a name.
Yeah.
I was famous
Yeah.
in these fighting pits. Tens of thousands of people were screaming my name.
Yeah.
And now we realize he's also really smart.
He's street smart. He knows.
He is street smart.
Yeah.
Read
Oh,
my
Exact same
notes.
thing in
Read
the
your
notes.
notes.
Yeah.
Your little mom
Do
writing
you know where I
it.
got that from? Dungeons and Dragons. You can get like a bonus for street smart, and I had it for my thief character, and it
Yep.
never came in handy because I was in a forest or a dungeon. Anyway, Dario, yeah, we've seen last week that he was a good fighter. Now he's street smart. He is also a part of the Queen's Council. Now, looking around the council, I kind of looked at you and like, who are these people?
Where did this council come from, first of all? It just all of a sudden appeared, because I don't think there was a council last week's episode.
Well, the guy
No,
with
she-
the English accent and the teeth was in last week's episode. He was the one that discovered about the harpy.
Yeah. Well, no, she's had her small council since she took
She's
over
had
Meereen.
people she talked to, but it was never as official as this.
Well,
where it was like a
yeah.
table
Who's that
of
Grey
people
Worm,
sitting
the
around.
Grey Worm that we'd never seen before, who's now on the
Well,
council.
the
as
one
well.
who's now.
That's a
He did.
Yeah,
that's a
he
character
did.
that's it's not a book
He really,
character,
really
so
did.
So I don't know.
deaded.
He
he's
be
beheaded, so
deaded,
it's like he's-
but he's not benedded. He's just bedeaded. So getting to see the council,
So
and
glad I think I'm
obviously,
funny.
we're seeing her interact in that political queen situation again, where last week she said, I'm not a politician, I'm a queen.
No shit.
And this episode, she acted a lot more like a politician at the beginning in that instance where they're talking and she's like, okay, he's going to go to trial.
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to just kill him. That was a very political decision because I think she wanted to kill him.
But how many times in the last, say, 6-7 episodes have we started disagreeing with her decisions? I mean, everything that Ned had said, or everything that anyone who had any kind of loyalty, you're like, yeah, that's right. That's what
Yeah.
you should be doing. And then you're saying that you've got so much faith in Daenerys, but she's kind of letting you down, and she's not.
Well, she always has let me down. She makes bad decisions constantly.
That's
She's
it.
a stubborn little girl, and she makes these horrible decisions, and it's always Sir Barristan who's the one going, hey,
Which is what happened
This is
in
what
this
you
episode.
need to do.
Big time. He has regulated
Yeah.
her.
and this he finally won in a way because he says, hey, let me tell you how your dad was.
Yeah.
He used to burn people with wildfire and laugh while they died in
he
front
was
of him.
an asshole.
Yeah.
Well, and that he thought every time he did them, he was more and more right and gained more and more power and totally lost sight of the fact that he was losing his people.
Yeah. Which is
As all that's
hilarious as
happening.
we move forward, where, yeah, she made the right decision in the council by saying we need to give this man who has, technically he was wearing the golden mask and they realized that he could have been murdering the Unsullied.
Yeah, he
for
did,
the-
yeah.
Yeah, for the harpy. What is it? The
Sons of the
Sons of
Harpy.
the
Sons of the Harpy. But no, we need to give him a fair trial. And the person within her council took the liberty to execute this man, saying, I did it for you. This is what you should have been doing. I killed him because you...
Which just, it ends up making it feel very cult-ish.
Yes.
That, you
Yeah.
know, you hear him saying, I did this for you, though you didn't ask for it. Because he literally says, I freed you from the decision. Because she couldn't make that decision for herself. And then when she comes out at the end and brings him out, everyone chanting to her was so... It was kind of creepy. The Misa stuff that was happening.
And we
or
saw
Misa.
Misa at the end of
Yeah.
season 4. That's
Yeah.
how we finished. All these slaves
But
lifting
even that
her
time
up.
felt so different than this one.
Yeah.
That
because-
time felt like
like,
victorious.
you freed us. Now lead us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she didn't do the great thing because, yes, this man took liberty to act in the way that he thought it was.
Yeah.
But now she's going, dude, you killed a man that was on trial. Now you've got to die.
Yeah.
Interesting that Dario stepped up to the plate to make the execution without flinching, without blinking. It happened. But the fact that they were all begging for this man's mercy, he's one of us. We feel that he acted with honor. We feel that he did the right thing. Yes,
Yep.
she said, it's not about what you think. Law is law.
Yep.
And you broke it, and you must pay the consequences.
And the punishment is death.
But the reverse reaction is her
Snakes
people-
again.
So the end of season 4, Misa, and now whoosh, they are
Stop it.
turning.
Don't even do it.
Okay. So
Don't even do the Jar Jar
David
because it
Fickus
reminds
at
me of
I See
that.
the Frog has made a very valid point. We all host a Star Wars podcast as well. Jedi Alliance, Far, Far Away, Jedi Council.
Star Wars in my room.
You've got a lot. There's a
Exactly.
Star Wars poster there, and there, and there, and there. The Misa.
These are on a
which
Star Wars
is-
plate. The cupcakes are, y'all.
Yeah.
I can't.
Y'all.
Don't spill.
So the fact that, Misa is mother.
Mother. Yeah.
Misa is also how Jar Jar Binks starts a lot of his
That's all. Okay,
conversation.
end of that conversation.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Misa,
Moving on.
sorry.
Stop it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Cool.
So we got to see all of that stuff happen with Dany, and I think that, obviously it was interesting seeing that, again, the Unsullied are the only ones who are there to protect her because they are a bot army.
But
Yeah.
There's
Dario,
no way they're turning. But he's in, like,
he
He's
showed
in
that they
love
have
with
a
love
her.
with her.
weakness.
Yeah.
No, when this guy, the son of the Harpies, was hidden in a room, Dario goes, check out this room. Straight away, Grey Worm was like, there is no one here. And he's like, dude,
Yeah.
Street
you're
smart,
so
yeah.
trained
Yeah.
that you can't see. And he throws this dagger and instantly, kind of impales the guy who's
Against the
hiding behind a wall.
Yeah.
And this is Dario going, you think you're so powerful and strong, but you just don't have it up here. You don't have your street smarts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Experience
these
of it.
Unsullied also have a weakness. I feel like all these major key characters are showing all their weaknesses.
Well,
Yeah,
every
fly what's
single
going on, yeah.
every single situation character is gonna have a weakness.
I just want to eat all the icing.
And don't do it. Don't do the strawberry one. I want this one.
Oh, that's yours? Okay, you take that away from me, for the love of God, because I really icing.
I think that we definitely are getting to see weaknesses that are going to end up being exploited and used later on.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was interesting that Dario was the one to say, okay, this is something that the Unsullied don't think about. And he may be someone that's going to have to teach them different things, especially because he talks about the fear thing. But then he also talks about the fact that he's like, well, guess what? Our guys, we hang out in the city. We go to the brothels. We drink with them.
Yeah.
So,
No nub rubs when you got the love nub. Anyway, moving on back to Cersei. I want to talk about how she's forming her own. We've seen Daenerys having her Queen's Council. Cersei, who she's putting into her inner circle. Qyburn?
Qyburn, yeah.
Qyburn is an interesting fellow, isn't he?
He's a dark fellow.
He is a guy that was a maester but had his chains removed because he was doing very unfundamental...
Necromancy.
Yeah, there you go. I was like, unfundamental things. No, he was fucking with
He's
shit.
rebuilding humans, and that's why he wanted that severed head. And
Yeah, I was like, speaking of cutting the head off of a snake.
I'm going to do that for my researchers. Cersei, whatever you need.
Yeah.
Whatever you need. Not blinking an eye, not understanding what's going on.
Because
under
they're
her
just
nose.
cutting down anyone that could possibly be Tyrion and sending heads.
That was one of the best parts in the books was all these different people showing up with
and she didn't even
dead
care.
small people.
She was like, it's one
Nope,
more Smurf person
not
I have to worry
him.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So-
Qyburn, let's talk a little bit about him. He seems to be a freak.
He's got some issues, yeah.
But there's some theories about the purpose and use of Qyburn. And why it is that I think Cersei puts a lot of faith in people, but doesn't understand necessarily their cause, what drives them.
But it's also, we don't know at what situation or at what point he's going to come in handy, because there's a lot of stuff that we don't understand. And if you think about other archetypal kind of like Knights of the Round Table, Merlin coming in and being the sorcerer who helps, and like old medicinal things where it's like, okay, he could potentially be that character who brings magic in because of all the creepy stuff he's doing. Well, maybe he's the one who helps to bring people back from the dead. I don't know.
He's bringing. He's absolutely going to be bringing the mountain back to life. That's why he's got him down there. He's experimenting on him.
And Dorne wants a head. They want justice. They want the mountain's head, body, whatever it is. They want
It's
to see him dead.
unusually large-sized cranium. Yeah.
Something that doesn't happen in the book, we go back to the north with Gilly and Shireen. Now, we've seen before Stannis' daughter with Grayscale teaching someone to read. She's doing it again.
She's a good little teacher.
Onion Knight she was teaching before.
Certainly was. And now it's happening again. Now, I think they kind of want Gilly to have a little bit more of a role.
Yeah.
Because in the books, she's just kind of not well for a lot of it. Just angry and sullen.
Yeah.
So here, this is a little bit odd for me, but I am also seeing Stannis' wife play more of a role here in manipulating who she should be friendly with.
Does she
and
remind
not.
anyone else of, what's her name? The crazy mom who her son was still feeding off of her nipple. He was older.
Oh, Lysa.
Lysa. I was like, why can I
Lysa
not think
Tully?
of her name? She reminds me of her now. She's crazy and kind of creepy and has no personality except for when she laughs at weird things. And just like when you look back on the interactions between Littlefinger and her responses to things remind me a lot of that character.
She's got problems too. I mean, she has 3 stillborn babies.
She's got problems.
But she also sees this Lord of Light servant, Melisandre, like pretty much fornicating with her husband for the greater good. The greater good.
The greater good.
Yeah. And she was kind of weak then, and I think she's kind of having a little bit more strength in trying to play the game a little bit more. The grayscale conversation, though, between Shireen and Gilly, I was like, huh?
Well, this for me, watching the show, I was like, at some point, this is going to come in and have some meaning. And I thought, I was like, maybe she's a dragon. Maybe she's something that will, like, end up being some kind of animal or thing that's a wildling.
If she's like
but
a
she
half
won't.
dragon, that would be so cool.
But she won't be because they already
Shireen.
said that she was cured. But when Gilly talks
Yeah.
about her 2 sisters who had it, she was like, they were basically animals.
What happens to people with grayscale?
They die.
But they didn't die.
What if-
Her parents killed them.
Yeah. There's
Can they transform into something with grayscales?
I think
no,
so.
not that I
Let's
don't
start
know.
a conspiracy.
Maybe Shireen is a dragon.
She's like a 10th dragon.
10th dragon.
Cheek dragon.
Or something.
I'm
there-
the dragon of
there's a-
cheeks.
There's a Chad, help me out. There's the river near Volantis where a town runs through, and the entire town is affected with grayscale.
Because
Facty.
a dragon did a big turd in their water supply.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Don't go in the water. And everyone in that town
He's good.
has grayscale. It's on the river down towards Volantis before you catch the Demon's Road. So there's a lot with grayscale in this. It was a very
But
interesting
all of
conversation.
those people are living
They're slowly
with
dying.
grayscale. Okay.
They're slowly dying. But
Dying or transforming?
they also go a little mad. They're also yeah, it's a weird thing. So it was to me kind of interesting that they addressed it directly, that they kind of spoke about it.
And the fact that we are drifting away from the book so much, are they planning something out? Is this going somewhere?
I mean, I think the fact that in that whole conversation, she asks about the sisters, and Gilly's like, okay. So they end up, changing. My dad took them outside, and then he took them out into the woods. We don't hear her say anything else. Obviously, it seems like the father ends up killing them. But we don't know what would happen if they were left to their own devices, except for that she said they were like beasts. They weren't themselves.
And in the wildling era, what kind of beasts do we know that live out in the north of the wall? Giants, sure. Wargs, yes. Could there be something else? There was the children of the forest.
Absolutely, there could be. Absolutely.
Speaking of the north, we see Jon and Stannis having a big, deep conversation. Stannis, who declares himself king, feels that he can completely change the ranking of the bastard and make him a Stark if he will help reclaim the north. But Jon, who has Ned's blood, maybe not running through him, but
something's running through that
Some
blood.
Stark blood is in there.
He's grown up. Is that good? Is that tasty? That looks so delicious too.
Strawberry cupcakes are my favorite.
Oh, that looks so delicious. We have to understand that, he has loyalty running through his blood. And he says, I swore an oath. I can't bow the knee to you. I can't claim lordship or lands or riches or help you because I am of the Night's Watch.
This for me is a key moment in Jon Snow's character and his storyline.
He knows
this
something.
is all he's ever wanted. You go back to
Yes,
season 1. Go back to episode 1.
He just wants to be recognized.
He doesn't want to be a bastard.
Do you guys remember the conversation between him and Tyrion?
Yeah, that's what I'm referencing. Is no, you're a bastard. Wear it proud, so other people can't take it from you or can't say anything about you. So for this moment, it's not a small moment when Stannis says, "I will make you a Stark."
I'm giving everything you want to you on a silver bloody platter.
Yeah, and I almost felt they rushed it a little bit. This is one of those things where they didn't have the time. It's not a book versus show thing. The show just doesn't have the time.
It's also because Stannis is kind of shit.
What are you talking bad about Stannis? Are you talking bad about Stannis, the one true king? The Iron Throne is his by right.
I understand why he's doing
but
that.
no one likes him.
Yes.
Yeah, well, welcome to my life.
Yeah. Oh, honey.
We
Happy
like you.
birthday to you.
We
Happy
like
birthday
you,
to you.
especially on your
we
birthday.
have got gift number 2. Happy
birthday
birthday
to you. More cupcakes!
Yes, fantastic. Would you like one, Ken?
After the show, I'll
There's a
dive
strawberry
on
one
it.
in there,
want
Mom,
that.
and a
damn
red
it,
velvet
I see
one.
It. That looks
But this-
yeah.
I think
This is a key. It's one thing. I'm a little disappointed. It's not book versus TV show. I'm just a little disappointed that they have to rush this because the Lord Commander election takes a book.
Leo here says the Lord Commander election is a little underwhelming, although he loves Sam's speech.
It was a very funny moment. I hate Janos Slint when he says I found him in a puddle of his own making.
Yeah.
Great Samwell.
And
Good
everyone's
moment.
like,
Good Samwell moment. Yeah, but and again, they have to do it like this. You can't. It took about an entire book, the election of the Lord Commanders.
I remember it.
Yeah, it
But
goes
it wasn't
and
just
goes
two
and
people
goes.
going for it. It was
bunch.
a number of people. And it
not
was
a
months and
conspiracy.
months and months.
Bowen
and there was no
Marsh.
clear winner.
Yeah, Bowen Marsh is involved in it. All these kind of characters. So
And that
I
was
get it.
the book. That was the previous book, wasn't it?
What is it? It's
Hold on, sorry, no one cares about books.
Yeah.
I will say, though, too, I think that this is something where it references a lot on the TV series, people seeking a title. You got Ramsay, who wants to be recognized. You've got Jon Snow, who wants to be recognized. You've got Cersei, who wants to be recognized. And
She just wants
is it
power,
something
man.
where... But she just wants to be recognized as a powerful person. And so I think it's something that, with Jon specifically, and this is a totally different reference, but when you look at like a biblical reference where it's like he's offering him the kingdom. Like Stannis is Satan at this point where he's like, I will give you everything if you just bow the knee to me. And he's like, not going to do it.
That's Christopher at Review Easy does tweet into us here that it's interesting that Jon Snow is the only GOT character to refuse power. That's a great comment to...
True.
about Jon
Anyone
Snow.
else? Stannis, I deserve my power. Cersei, do you want power? You betcha. Anyone else? Renly, you want power? Yes, I want it.
Yeah.
Everyone wants it.
And that quest for power destroyed just about everyone who has
Ned
reached for it.
refused to be hand of the king.
And all right, Ned tried, and I tried to refuse it. And every time I rewatch season 1, I want him to walk away when he has that chance. So it's why Jon is such a popular character for so many people. Is he has these good traits about him, these traits that go deep. His character and the thing about saving Mance and all that kind of stuff. It runs very deep. Should we just eat all the cupcakes?
I just want
Should
the
we
icing.
just-
I'm that little brat that just wants the
every
icing.
single one.
Yeah.
Yum, 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 yum. Hey, we've also got a few tweets coming in. Leo has said something that's just blown my face off.
What?
In wait. In Carbon's lab, you can see Mountain's body lying on the table. A and B, the head of the dwarf belonged to the one who played King Joffrey at the Purple Wedding. Is that
Yeah.
true?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it definitely was the
Right?
one.
Do you guys remember the Purple Wedding where they got all the little
They did the
people?
interaction of they did the reenactment, of the
yeah.
war.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it
the
was
one
his.
that played Joffrey.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
it kind of
There's a lot of there was a lot of beheading in this episode because we haven't even talked about the fact that when we end up getting to Arya again, she beheads that little pigeon.
Yes! But they didn't stand a chance.
That she beheaded the pigeon, and then that's how she ends up getting into the House of Black and White.
Do you think that's why?
No,
I think they were following her the entire time, and they're like,
Oh,
"Who
yeah.
is this person? Is she actually who she says she is? Does she have true motives?"
Well, but I think whoever Jagan Hagar was, or whoever that is, knew right away. I think you wanted to see how much she wanted it, in my
Yeah.
mind.
The fact that she came back, wasn't it?
Yeah, that and
Oh no,
yeah.
she like stood up to like a bunch of people.
yeah.
That didn't happen.
Yeah.
Basically, Arya's like a badass now, is what they're trying to show us, which
She's
I
still got
already
needle.
knew. She keeps being just this little tiny badass with a little tiny needle that also
Mm-hmm.
makes her more badass.
Yeah, but all that badassery is going to have to go away. She's going to have to become nobody, and that includes maybe getting rid of Needle or again, just overcoming that vengeance, that
The
drive
fact that
for
she's
vengeance.
a lady of the House of Stark.
That fact that she's technically a lady, all that means nothing anymore, and that's the journey she's about to start with now. I keep saying Jagan Hagar, but whoever that is. And,
Priest of the House of Black and
yeah,
White.
and they might be combining some characters from that. There's the blind priest there that's in the House of Black and White, but the House of Black and White stuff is
A little boring.
it's a little boring.
In the
Don't
book.
worry, I'll say it for
Yeah,
In the
you.
books.
it's
To nose first.
yeah, it's a little long, so I'm okay. Again, this is one of those things for now where I don't like that they had to speed up the Lord Commander election. It's okay that they can speed up Arya learning. She'll still be Cat of the Canals and Arya underfoot. All these things these transitions she has to go through. But
Tiff's face.
What?
What you say?
it's just she already the thing with the pigeon is already kind of a little bit of who she is.
Okay.
Well, remember how like throughout the entire season, she's learned to not be Arya Stark.
Yeah.
I mean, this
Yeah.
whole Arya, guys, phonetically tweet
Arya.
us. What do you think it is?
Brienne of
Arya?
Tarth says Aya.
I know it's throwing me off.
She
so
had,
Arya.
Gwendolyn Christie has a thick accent.
Aya.
Yeah.
Arya.
Arya.
But,
okay,
like,
talk
it's-
about thick accents though. Maude doesn't like to be called Maude. She'd rather us call her
Maude.
Maude.
Maude Garrett.
Well, my name is Maude.
Yeah.
In
So
my accent.
Aya
In your
is
accent.
Aya. We'll just say it that way.
So I'm going to say Arya because I'm closest to a British accent. You'd be like, oh, Arya. Arya, yeah, great. Arya.
no, what I'm trying to
Arya.
say is her name is Aya.
Did you like that?
Like
don't
your
you?
name is Maude.
Maude.
Exactly.
And for the record,
exactly.
Tiff has practiced that.
And for the record, my name is Tiffany.
No
In
matter
all
what.
accents.
Yeah. In
Tiffany.
Australia, Tiffany. In America, Tiffany.
Tiffany.
Anywhere else.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
exactly.
I'm Maud, and Mode.
Something just as we were talking about Aya's character
Arya.
and her coming to this city, Braavos, at the beginning, and she talks about, he says to her, "Don't be afraid," and she says, "I'm not afraid." And then you go back to kind of the theme with the Unsullied as well, where they're talking about fear.
Yeah, a lot of fear.
So I think that again is something where you deal with that. And then someone who shows no fear at the very end of the episode, when we get to see Dany alone in her room and she hears something on the roof and she starts creeping around and you're like, is it someone in there who's trying to kill her? Because basically everyone in the city at this point is against her. She goes out.
I think that's my fantasy.
He's always in her room, generally, but she told him to leave. But she goes outside and there is Drogon, right?
Drogon
the dragon.
And it was such a cool moment because you see her, as we all did, knowing that the other dragons are pissed off at her.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you're like, do they, in my mind, I was like, do they have some connection? Does he know that
How
they're
big
all
is
annoyed?
he?
Massive.
Huge. Face only a mother could love.
Dragon.
Yeah. And they have him lean in and it's like his little spines on his head, like spike up and then go back down. Is he going to let her touch him? I don't know. Kind of. No. And then flies
He
away.
gone. And she looked broken, didn't she? She was like, oh my gosh, you're mine. Here, let me touch you. Oh, goodbye. And she's like, this is this whole control thing. Daenerys no longer has control over her dragons. And she needs those dragons to rule as a queen.
But I also think that was a reinvigorating moment for her where, okay, I still have, though there is this dragon that's out loose and I can't really control him, there is still someone who's on my side. Because I think that whole scene for her was, I'm in this city and I'm by myself. I'm alone.
My people are hissing at me.
Yeah, a little bit of that. That's good,
what is it? The people that kind of give you advice. Barristan.
Yeah.
He's telling me that if I keep doing what I'm doing, I'm going to turn to my mad father.
Yep.
You know, she's like, where are my allies?
Yep.
Maybe she should just keep having some sex with Arya. What? Hey, we've got a question. A theory here or a comment from Waterfaster 2012 who says, Jon said that Mance made a mistake for not bending the knee to Stannis, but he did exactly the same thing. #hypocrite.
Maybe, or maybe he learned from Mance, or
He shot Mance through the heart to save him from a disgustingly torturous death by being burnt alive.
kind of honoring him in a way.
Having everyone have a bad memory of him, which is the one thing Mance said he did not want. It's true.
Yeah, it's an excellent point. If Jon had bent the knee, so to speak, to Stannis, it would have been. I wouldn't call him a hypocrite. I think maybe he learned from Mance. I think that was one of Mance's lessons. When the last thing he really said to him was, like we said before, was I just wanted the freedom to make my own mistakes. Mm-hmm. That's maybe what Jon was doing. But again, it's no small feat for him to turn that down, and I think the show undersold that a little bit. They address it when he's talking to Sam about, hey, all I dreamed about as a kid was being a Stark. For him to just turn it down. It was glossed over a little bit quickly for me, at least. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
And I think him rejecting that was glossed over a little bit. Yeah. But I think that what didn't register enough for me was the fact that he would have still wanted to lead the Night's Watch. Because the whole interaction with Stannis where they're talking and he says, no, I don't want to bow the knee to you. But at the same time, I also don't want to lead the wildlings because they're not my people either. But he never really referenced saying, I want to lead the men of the Night's Watch. So seeing his reaction.
Well, he just said, I took a vow to be in the Night's Watch.
Yeah. But I also think that he's always been that person who is, I'm going to be a part of the team, but I'm never going to stand out. Yeah. So that was interesting because as Sam sang his little speech, Jon has a little bit of a smile on his face in certain moments where he's like, okay, I almost expected him to stand up and say, no, I don't want this. Mm-hmm. So I think that was glossed over.
Stop.
But he hates Alistair so much. And it's true, he was chosen to be a steward.
It saves him from having to answer to Stannis.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, now he and Stannis will be on a little more equal footing.
Yeah.
Alistair Thorne has always been a thorn in Jon's side.
Very clever, Ken.
Though I think there's a begrudging respect between the two that I think you saw at the Watchers on the Wall episode last year when the big battle.
So that was kind of the episode. Next week, we kind of got a glimpse as well. What do we want to see? Do we want to see this? I mean, we've been teasing about the sand snakes for so long.
Yeah, let's
We
see
heard
some
about
snakes.
them in this episode because Ilaria says the snakes are with me. They don't really reference what that is, aside from her just saying the snakes are with me. They have the people with them as well. So I think we'll definitely. I think we're gonna get to meet them very shortly.
So let's break it down. We reckon Dawn's we have see the introduction of the sand snakes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cersei, we're going to see her continue to lose her power and control over the realm.
Yeah.
Jon Snow
Jon
Snow.
He's going to know something.
He's gonna have to know something because he's gonna be leading the Night's Watch.
What about Tyrion and Varys?
I'm curious to see
Wait.
how quick they get to
What?
how quick they get to
It
Volantis.
actually really bubbles a lot. It kind of went up my nose. But that's okay.
She may actually vomit on our show.
Kidding.
Life imitating art yet again with Maude Garrett. I think we'll
Sansa
probably
and-
meet some new characters with Tyrion and Varys because they are making a stop before
That's it. That
they
was the
get
point
to
that I
Danny.
made, right?
Yeah. So I think we'll get to meet some new characters.
Very
with them, which will be
curious
really
to
cool.
see what happens to them in Volantis.
Yeah.
Brienne and Podrick, what's happening to them?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea, and that's fun. And we go book reader voice coming out now. I have no idea where they're taking this story.
Or Jamie going to Dawn. What's happening
That I can see what's going to happen. But it's interesting that they're making it Jamie, and Dorne's a volatile place,
God, Dorne.
and it's a lot of things are starting to come to a head
I think
here.
Braun's gonna love Dorne.
No,
I'm
I'm
saying.
saying wink, wink, wink.
I also just really enjoy that this show, as it's done in a lot of the seasons at this point, constantly pairs up two characters.
Yes.
They partner up people that
Yeah.
you don't expect to see partnered. You get to learn a lot about them, and then you start to love that partnership where it's like last season was Arya and
The Hound.
Yeah, the Hound,
Tyrion
seeing the
and
two of them
Braun.
together. And then, we got to see Jamie and Brienne.
Yep.
So I'm curious to see what partnerships from this season are really going to stand out and that we're really going to love.
So where are we going to see Daenerys?
Where are we going to see Daenerys?
Oh.
Yeah.
She's going to have to do something to try and earn back all the people trusting her.
Imagine getting hissed at.
It's the price of ruling now. It's kind of like what Alistair Thorne says to Jon Snow last year in that battle of you know what leadership is. It's every twat with a mouth second guesses you, and now Dany's feeling that.
Yep.
And she's gonna
Yep.
have to make this
I
decision.
know, it was like this headstrong, you're great, you're amazing, you've freed everyone,
Yeah,
we worship
that's all
you.
great when everyone's praising you.
How fast they turn.
It is. It's the price of being a boss.
Got a little tweet here from Waterfaster 2012 again saying, I want to learn what on earth happened to John's Uncle Benjen.
I know.
So do I.
I've been trying to learn that for 5 books. I don't know if he
Don't
has.
worry, winter's coming.
I don't know if he has cold hands or not, but I want to find out who or what Benjen Stark has become. I
Yeah.
don't know if we'll ever get the answer. We don't know.
Who is the king
Maybe
of the
he
White
got the
Walkers?
grayscale and he's like a weird beast
A dragon
on the
beast.
other side of the wall.
I don't know.
You
It's one of
never
the
know.
great mysteries, and I think, again, we talked before, George does not throw away characters.
No.
There's a reason Benjen Stark was there. There's a reason he disappears, and there's a reason that Jon Snow is constantly in the back of his mind wondering where his uncle is. I don't know. I don't think we'll get that answer this season, though.
But we are going to continue this discussion on the people that we think will die this coming season. Make sure you do subscribe to Tiffany's channel for those extra videos. YouTube.com/Tiffany M. Smith. Subscribe right now so you don't miss those videos. I think that's all we've got time for this particular episode, which is the recapping of Ep 2, the House of Black and White. It's our episode 3. If you do want to see more of these videos, good news for you. The entire episode will be up at youtube.com/Geek Bombshells. You can get all of our discussions happening there. What is that?
I just got really distracted because I peeked over on Ken's iPad
You got
and I
titties?
just saw some boobs.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got so excited
That's-
that I'm
those
so
are-
sorry. Sorry, I just
I'm
picked out everyone.
apparently people tweet boobs to Ken.
Happy birthday
Goodbye.
to boobs.
Happy birthday to Ken. Happy birthday, dear Ken. I'll send
was-
you some boobs.
It was Tanya Tate.
It's good.
If you don't like the video,
I won't.
though,
Twitter will.
You can get the audio podcast on the Napzok Files. Just search the Napzok Files on
right.
iTunes, on Podomatic, and on Stitcher. He
That's
does
right.
a bunch of different audio podcasts. What else is on there?
Well, we've got the Napzok Files, which is a show about life, the universe, and everything. We got Spotlight Star Wars, which is me talking to myself about Star Wars. This week I recorded an episode in my room after the first day of celebration for me.
Star Wars
And
celebration.
it was Friday at celebration was the happiest day of my life. Saturday was a big lie because I was so exhausted and on medication I was barely
I've got
standing.
blisters all over my feet.
Yeah. But and then also Alicia Malone's film school with your mate Alicia, and we just got to find time to do another episode. But we
Yep.
got that coming up.
Yeah.
So guys, click subscribe, like on all of those things. If you liked this video, give it a big thumbs up. I want to have a huge shout out to I See the Frog.
Yay.
David
Yes.
Fickett has managed to put on a massive production increase in the value of what we're having
Totally
here.
has.
So it's these microphones,
Live stream,
the
candles.
Yeah.
The cupcakes. Thank you, Tiff.
Definitely follow at I See the Frog on Twitter. And if you check out the website, iseethefrog.com, it's basically a combination and a compilation of all the amazing things online direct for you. They do all the work for you, so you can just sit there and chill the F out. So thank you so much for that one. Really do appreciate it. Yeah, you can give yourself a round of applause. Guys, we'll be back next week for episode 3 of the show, episode 4 for us. We've got, you're going to bust out the guitar.
Oh, we're going to sing.
You've learnt the Game of Thrones song, which is really, really cool. Guys, if you want to see us sing the Game of Thrones song, make sure you do subscribe to the extras video because Tiff's just going to put all of those up on her
My
channel.
YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah. Thanks so much. We'll catch you next week.
That's all for the night is done.
I want cupcake. Does anyone want the red velvet? I want it so bad.
That's all for show. Thanks for
Watching.
watching.
Good night. Watch.